So the question that many times skeptics, usually more of the atheists now and the agnostics, like, who created God? Who created God? Who created God? Now, I want you to understand this, that such a question itself is dead on arrival. Because you are assuming a created God. You are assuming a God that is also a creature. So such a question is dead on arrival because it is a paradox. It is self-contradictory. If he is God, he can't be created. Are we together? Are we together? Okay? So it is a paradox. It is a question that is dead on arrival. Because, many scientists like to argue that the word came out of nothing. You'd have heard about the Big Bang, right? There was just an explosion, boom, and everything just came to be the way we see them today. Isn't that really amazing? Isn't science wonderful? Now, the issue with that, many scientists, they believe that faith is in conflict with reason. And ultimately, they are not meant to be at loggerheads. They are meant to work together. Because the same people that are trying to turn their backs on faith and focus on reason are, in a way, ironically, turning their backs on reason by saying that the word came out of nothing. It was just a Big Bang. Because when we talk about cause and effect, the theory of cause and effect, they can't just be a Big Bang without it being caused by something. Are we together? And there's the same scientists. Of course, thankfully, there are many scientists that are actually Christians. But there are so many that believe that science actually is at loggerheads with faith. Alright? And these same scientists, they teach that the word came out of nothing. Which is really amazing and ironical. Someone like one of the foremost atheists, Richard Dawkins, or Richard Hawking, he once said things, and he promoted his belief against God, anti-God and everything, promoting, several symposiums, several books written, saying that the universe does not need God. And he said something, a statement that the existence of the law of gravity is enough proof that the earth can create itself out of nothing, or can come out of nothing. Now that statement is a paradox. It is funny, ironical, and of course self-contradictory. Because when you say the existence of the law of gravity is enough evidence or proof that the world came out of nothing, or can create itself out of nothing, you are beginning to turn your back on reason, unlike you claim. Because from the theory of cause and effect, you said the existence of the law of gravity is enough proof. That means for the earth to create itself, the existence of the law of gravity must be something. Or in essence, it is something. On which premise the earth can create itself out of nothing? From your statements. This is actually self-contradictory, because the earth creating itself out of nothing is not without the existence of the law of gravity, which is something. Are we together? So when a scientist tries to say that everything came out of nothing, you have contradicted yourself already. Because the existence of the law of gravity is something already. Are we together? Do you get that? Are you sure? I thought so. Now, Richard Hawkins says that the universe does not need God. Okay? That the existence of the law of gravity is enough proof that the earth can create itself out of nothing. Now, pick those words together in a very scholarly way. It says what? The existence of the law of gravity is enough proof that the earth can create itself out of nothing. In essence, where the self-contradictory in the end is the fact that the earth creating itself out of nothing is dependent on the law of gravity being in existence. And that is something. Are you sure you get that? So, how you get that? So, we say that the scientists are trying to say that what the world came out of nothing. The universe came out of nothing. It came out from the Big Bang, nothing, basically. But when you talk about the existence of the law of gravity, that is something. And that is the premise on which you are claiming that the earth came out of nothing. It is self-contradictory already on its own. And because ultimately, you that claim to be championing reasoning, you are ironically turning your back on reason. Because I believe that no one is dumb. We know that the only thing that can come out of nothing is nothing. Right? The only thing that can come out of nothing is nothing. So that means only something can influence something. The only thing that can come out of nothing is nothing. Now, taking a step ahead, if we a step further, if we look at the universe as a creation, okay, let me use the word creation now in that sense. When we look at the universe, look at the orderly arrangement of the universe. I mean, of the earth, the landforms, the seas, and everything. Look at the orderly arrangement of the planetary bodies. Can a Big Bang bring such a kind of orderly? It will definitely be catastrophic. No, there's no way a scientist can prove this because we know it will definitely be catastrophic. Try to make something explode and see where they rearrange themselves in a normal way. Eh? Think about it. You have letters. Let's say you have the letters A to Z. You have them in a box, like a Scrabble box, and you now throw them out. Bah! Would they arrange themselves A, B, C, D, E, F? It's not possible. You know that. It will be catastrophic. So you see, the orderly arrangement shows that there is an agency, an active agency behind it. Because, findings have made it clear that the arrangement of the planetary body is a very calculated one, such that if the Earth is slightly closer than the sun, closer to the sun than it is now, every living being is in trouble. Because it will not encourage life. Every life will go. If it should go slightly further away from the sun than it is, it will not encourage life. You say that what we cook or we freeze. In essence, we go. Lilo, laolo. Huh? Okay? So when we see the orderly arrangement of things, we see the orderly arrangement of the planetary bodies, it's obvious that this did not come out of nothing. There is an orderly and deliberate orchestration by an agency. Glory to Jesus. That is outside of the creation. Hallelujah. Okay? That's what we saw earlier. That what we were seeing Ecclesiastes. Remember when we saw Ecclesiastes 3, right? And chapter 8 as well. That if you try to box God in your mind, you're trying to fathom or comprehend God, you will enter a journey into what? Infinity. That you're going to the bottomless pit. It's one thing to be going to a pit, and you know you will land somewhere. But this one is a bottomless pit. The journey continues till eternity future. So it will never come to an end. That's what we saw in Ecclesiastes. That's why we find that we always find ourselves in that journey of that string of infinity. When you ask yourself that, who created God? We say, who created God? Let's assume, the way it is in mathematics or physics and other things. Assuming what X created God. Now, who created X? Because that cyclic or that infinity journey will continue. Who created X? Y. Okay, who created Y? B. Who created B? So you will keep going in that journey that will never end. Who created God? Then, who created God? They're all created who created God. They're all created who created God. Then the journey continues and you will never find an end. I mentioned that last year that in childhood, I believe many of us would have done it before. Just start to close your eyes and try to imagine how God came to be. It just came out. Bah! Or something must have caused it in the end. So just set it in your mind that your mind can never box God. Can never box God. It's a journey in infinity. He has set infinity or eternity in man's heart so that you can never find out. God is beyond comprehension. His reality and mode of existence is unique and unlike anything in creation, to the end that he is truly special and beyond comprehension. Glory to Jesus. Hallelujah. Is that your God? Hallelujah.